Hello Zenith women and welcome to the channel. True leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders. This quote hits differently when you realize that Sigma females are the epitome of leadership without the need for a throne. Research shows that the most effective leaders often operate with emotional intelligence, independence, and vision, all traits Sigma females carry like second nature. Yet, here's the kicker. They often choose not to lead. Why? Because the world's idea of leadership, titles, politics, and endless meetings is a game they have no interest in playing. They know their power doesn't lie in commanding attention, but in mastering the art of influence, often from the shadows. And let's be real, why waste time in a boardroom when you could be strategizing in peace with a cup of coffee and no one micromanaging you? In this video, we're peeling back the layers to reveal why Sigma females are born leaders who consciously opt out of the spotlight. Get ready, because this isn't your typical leadership story. It's about rewriting the rules entirely. Number 1. They see leadership as a responsibility, not a privilege. Sigma females view leadership as a responsibility, not some shiny badge of honor to flash around. They understand that being in charge means more than barking orders or looking good in a power suit. It's about guiding others, making tough calls, and bearing the weight of outcomes that affect everyone involved. To them, leadership is serious business, not a vanity project. And because they hold such a deep respect for the role, they're incredibly selective about stepping into it. If they don't feel aligned with the mission or confident in their ability to deliver, they'd rather step aside than risk half-assing it. This approach sets them apart from people who chase leadership roles for all the wrong reasons: ego, validation, or the illusion of control. A Sigma female doesn't need a fancy title to feel important. Her worth isn't tied to external labels, and she has no interest in pretending to have it all together just to maintain appearances. She knows that the responsibility of leadership is a heavy burden, and she's not afraid to admit when it's not hers to carry. And here's the twist. When she does step up, it's never for show. She leads when it matters. When the stakes are high, the situation aligns with her values, and she knows she can make a difference. Her leadership isn't about being in charge. It's about serving a purpose. This level of intentionality is rare, and it's why people respect her even when she's not actively leading. The funny thing is, this makes her an even better leader. By refusing to jump into roles for the sake of it, she ensures that when she takes the reins, she's fully prepared. And when that happens, watch out. Because a Sigma female leading on her own terms is nothing short of unstoppable. Number 2, they despise the spotlight but master the strategy. Sigma females are natural-born leaders, but they have zero interest in chasing the spotlight. They don't need applause, fancy titles, or a pedestal to validate their worth. For them, the power of leadership lies in mastering the strategy, not hogging the stage. They'd rather be the force pulling the strings behind the scenes than the one standing at the podium pretending to have all the answers. It's not because they're shy or afraid of responsibility, it's because they know true influence doesn't need a megaphone. Their approach is calculated, almost surgical. They focus on outcomes, not optics, while others are busy fighting over who gets the credit. Sigma females are already 5 steps ahead, orchestrating results that leave everyone else wondering how it all happened. They lead without fanfare, and that's what makes them so effective. People follow them not because they're loud or demanding, but because they exude a quiet confidence that's impossible to ignore. It's not arrogance, it's clarity. Sigma females understand that leadership isn't about ego, it's about impact. They don't waste time playing the popularity game or obsessing over how others perceive them. If they can get the job done without standing in the spotlight, they will. And honestly, they'd rather skip the speeches, meetings, and performative nonsense that come with being the face of anything. But don't mistake their low-profile approach for indifference. Their ability to lead without needing constant attention is a superpower. It allows them to move freely, stay focused, and operate on their own terms. They're not chasing validation, they're crafting results. And if that means letting others take the bow while they mastermind the entire show from backstage, so be it. After all, the real power lies in pulling the strings, not hogging the applause. Number 3, they reject the leader label as a box. Sigma females treat labels like a pair of shoes that don't quite fit, unnecessary and uncomfortable. Even a label as seemingly empowering as leader feels restrictive to them because it comes with a set of expectations they have no interest in fulfilling. Leadership, in the conventional sense, often means being locked into a role that dictates how you should act, think, and even appear. For a Sigma female, that's a cage, not a crown. She values adaptability over authority and fluidity over formality, which is why she rejects the label altogether. Being boxed into a title means playing by someone else's rules, and that's not how Sigma females operate. They don't see leadership as a rigid role, but as a dynamic function that shifts depending on the situation. One day they might take charge and guide a team. The next, they might step back and let someone else lead. This ability to adapt isn't a weakness, it's their strength. They thrive in chaos because they aren't tied to any single identity or predefined expectations. This rejection of labels also makes them unpredictable, which is both their charm and their edge. You can't pigeonhole a Sigma female into any category because the moment you think you've figured her out, she'll evolve. Titles like leader come with societal baggage, pressure to act a certain way, lead in a particular style, or conform to norms. Sigma females laugh at these rules and carve their own paths instead. By rejecting the leader label, they reserve the right to lead when it suits them and step away when it doesn't. This freedom to move between roles without being locked into one is what makes them so powerful. They don't need the label to prove their worth. They let their actions speak louder than any title ever could. Number 4, they know leadership often leads to compromise. For Sigma females, leadership is not just about stepping into power, it's about staying true to who they are. They see through the polished image of leadership roles and understand the unspoken compromises that come with the territory. To lead in many traditional settings often means playing politics, softening hard truths, or diluting bold ideas to appease others. These sacrifices might keep the peace or win approval. But to a Sigma female, they feel like selling your soul. Authenticity is the bedrock of their identity, and they refuse to trade it for a title or applause. They'd rather walk away than water down their principles for the sake of leading. Sugarcoating truths? Not their style. Pretending to agree with ideas they don't respect? Absolutely not. For a Sigma female, leadership should amplify their values, not force them to compromise. The thought of bending who they are just to fit into someone else's idea of leadership makes their skin crawl. And let's not forget the exhausting performative aspect of leading in today's world. The constant smiling for the cameras, the need to spin every action into a PR win, and the endless balancing act of keeping everyone happy. It's a circus they want no part of. Sigma females know that compromise often comes disguised as collaboration, and while they understand its necessity in small doses, they won't make it their default mode. If leadership means sacrificing integrity for popularity or softening their edges to fit into a polished image, they'll pass. Their influence doesn't need a stage, and their power doesn't depend on approval. A Sigma female leads only when she can do so on her terms, with honesty, authenticity, and zero tolerance for compromising who she is at her core. Number 5, they value impact over recognition. Sigma females are driven by purpose, not prestige. While others chase the spotlight and scramble for the title of leader, they focus on something far more profound, making a genuine impact. For them, leadership isn't about recognition or accolades. It's about creating meaningful change. They're the kind of people who'd rather see their ideas thrive than their names etched on a plaque. Titles and paychecks may impress others, but they don't satisfy the Sigma female's hunger for real results. She doesn't waste energy trying to sit at someone else's table when she knows she can build her own, on her terms no less. A Sigma female is perfectly content operating behind the scenes, pulling strings, and orchestrating outcomes that actually matter. The applause, the nods of approval, the shiny awards, those are irrelevant. Her focus is laser-sharp, aimed at what truly counts, solving problems, elevating others, and leaving things better than she found them. This approach often catches people off guard. They can't figure out why she's not clinging to the spotlight or demanding recognition for her contributions. But that's her secret weapon. By sidestepping the ego-driven race for visibility, she conserves her energy for the work that speaks for itself. And when results start rolling in, people inevitably notice, even if that's not her goal. To a Sigma female, impact is the ultimate flex. The satisfaction of seeing her vision come to life, even if no one knows it was her idea, outweighs any temporary thrill of acknowledgement. She's the kind of leader who doesn't need a pedestal or a round of applause. The value she creates and the change she inspires are all the rewards she'll ever need. Let others chase fame. She's busy chasing transformation. Number 6. Their authority is silent, yet undeniable. Sigma females don't need to raise their voices or pound tables to make their point. Their authority doesn't come from volume, it radiates from their unshakable confidence and self-assuredness. Without ever explicitly asking for it, they command attention and respect. It's not because they seek to dominate, it's because their mere presence suggests they know exactly who they are and what they're doing. That kind of quiet confidence is magnetic, and people instinctively look to them for guidance, even in situations where they haven't claimed a leadership role. What sets them apart is the effortless nature of their influence. They don't need to issue directives or play the power games others rely on to assert control. Instead, they lead through their actions, decisions, and ability to remain composed in chaos. There's something undeniably compelling about someone who doesn't crave attention yet holds it anyway. It's like they've cracked the code on how to lead without all the noise. Their silent authority often leaves others questioning the traditional models of leadership. Why do so many assume a leader has to be loud, performative, or constantly seeking validation? A Sigma female's approach proves that true leadership isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the one everyone listens to when they finally stop talking. This quiet power can also disarm those who rely on bluster and bravado. There's no room for ego battles when a Sigma female is involved. Her calm demeanor has a way of neutralizing unnecessary drama. She leads not because she wants to, but because others naturally follow her. Her authority is a reminder that strength doesn't need to shout. Sometimes it's the silence that carries the most weight. Number 7. They inspire by example, not instructions. Sigma females don't waste their breath lecturing people on what to do or how to live. Instead, they live their truth so unapologetically that it sparks something in others. A quiet kind of inspiration that lingers long after they've left the room. They know that words are cheap if they're not backed by action. So they don't preach integrity. They show it. They don't demand respect. They carry themselves in a way that makes it impossible not to respect them. This is their leadership superpower, leading by example. They demonstrate the kind of discipline, confidence, and authenticity that others can't help but admire. It's not about telling someone, this is how you should do it. It's about being so good at what they do, so aligned with their values that people start asking, how do they do it? This approach naturally attracts followers, but not the kind who follow out of obligation or fear. The people who gravitate towards Sigma females do so because they genuinely want to, not because they've been ordered to. It's the kind of influence that feels organic and earned, not forced or contrived, and that's why it sticks. By embodying what they believe in, Sigma females create a ripple effect. Their quiet consistency makes others reflect on their own actions, often sparking positive change without a single word being spoken. It's leadership at its purest form. No ego, no micromanaging, no fanfare. Just undeniable proof that actions will always speak louder than words. And the best part? Sigma females don't even do it to inspire others. They're simply living life on their own terms. The inspiration is just a bonus for everyone else lucky enough to be. Number 8. They prefer respect over popularity. Sigma females don't spend their time chasing popularity or trying to fit in with the crowd. While others are busy playing the social game, smiling, nodding, and making sure everyone likes them. A Sigma female is too busy staying true to who she is. Popularity doesn't hold the same weight for her as it does for others. She isn't interested in collecting a fan base or seeking validation from the masses. Instead, she's all about earning genuine respect through her actions, not by playing nice or being a crowd pleaser. Respect for her is earned over time through consistency, integrity, and unwavering self-assurance. She doesn't mind standing alone if it means staying authentic. In fact, being unafraid to risk unpopularity is one of her trademarks. She knows that true respect comes from being bold enough to follow her own path, even when it means stepping on a few toes or ruffling feathers along the way. This isn't about being rebellious for the sake of it. It's about standing firm in her values and not compromising them just to get ahead. Sigma females know that popularity is fleeting, and it can be built on shallow, surface-level traits. But respect? That's earned through substance and conviction, and it's far more valuable in the long run. It's easy to blend in, to conform, and to make sure everyone likes you. But Sigma females don't waste time with that. They're much more interested in being the kind of person who commands respect, even if it means being misunderstood. In their world, integrity is worth far more than a few fleeting moments of social approval. Number 9. Impact over ego. For Sigma females, leadership is never about being the center of attention. It's about having a meaningful impact, even if that impact goes unnoticed by the masses. They aren't interested in the glory that often comes with leadership roles, the applause, the titles, the ego strokes. Instead, they're driven by the desire to change systems, shift perspectives, and create long-lasting change. The idea of standing on stage and soaking in the spotlight, it doesn't even cross their minds. They prefer to work behind the scenes, quietly dismantling outdated structures and paving the way for something better. The Sigma female isn't interested in credit for her achievements. She understands that true leadership isn't about recognition, it's about results. If the world moves forward because of her actions, she's more than content to let others claim the spotlight. While some might seek validation from a round of applause, the Sigma female finds fulfillment in the impact she makes. She's more than happy to pass the credit off to those who need it, while she quietly moves on to the next challenge, already looking at the bigger picture. This doesn't mean she lacks ambition or drive. On the contrary, she's deeply motivated, just not by the typical markers of success. The need for recognition or status isn't what pushes her, it's the desire to leave a legacy of change and growth. She prefers to let her work do the talking, knowing that true power lies in making a difference, not in receiving praise. For the Sigma female, the satisfaction comes not from the acknowledgement of others, but from the knowledge that she's shaped something greater than herself, and left the world a little better for having been in it. Number 10. Visionaries without limitations. Sigma females thrive on freedom and versatility. They see leadership roles as limiting, not liberating, because such positions often come with rigid boundaries. You're the CEO of this, the director of that, locked into one role or industry, while everything else takes a back seat. For Sigma females, that's the kind of confinement they can't stand. They're too multidimensional to let a title define their potential or restrict where they can channel their brilliance. Their ideas are their true legacy, not the leadership label that might come with them. By working behind the scenes or dabbling across multiple fields, Sigma females can remain untethered, moving wherever their creativity and vision lead them. They'd rather let their work speak for itself, free of the constraints that come with being the face of a movement or an organization. They know that sometimes being a leader means being stuck in meetings, dealing with politics, and constantly managing others, leaving little room for exploration or growth. That's a deal they'll never take. This isn't to say they shy away from responsibility or impact, quite the opposite. Sigma females often influence more from the shadows than most leaders do in the spotlight. They don't need credit or applause to validate their contributions. In fact, they prefer to be the invisible force driving change, a position that allows them to pivot, innovate, and expand without being boxed into a single narrative. By refusing to confine themselves to one role, Sigma females create a kind of leadership that is fluid and limitless. They're not tied to a specific industry, project, or group of people. Their focus is on the bigger picture, on making meaningful contributions across a spectrum of possibilities. For them, the absence of a leadership title isn't a weakness. It's their greatest strength, allowing them to lead without ever being led by the constraints of the role itself. In a world obsessed with labels, titles, and rigid definitions of leadership, Sigma females stand apart. They reject the confines of a leader label because they know that true leadership is not about the role you're given or the recognition you receive. It's about the quiet strength, adaptability, and authenticity that flows from within. Sigma females lead without needing a title, influence without seeking fame, and make an impact simply by being true to themselves. They understand that leadership is fluid, not fixed, and the most powerful kind of leadership is the one that doesn't need to be declared, but simply is. By choosing not to be bound by societal expectations, they redefine what it means to lead. They don't need a seat at the table to change the game, they make their own. And in doing so, they demonstrate that the greatest leaders are those who can navigate the world without needing to wear the title. Sigma females are the quiet revolutionaries, changing lives, shaping ideas, and moving mountains in ways that are both subtle and profound. Their leadership isn't loud, but it is undeniable, and it's all the more powerful for it. Thanks for watching, and bye.